controversy once again after it enacted a law that allows it to tax 10% of the income earned by Hindu temples that earn more than rupees 1 crore per annum. Now viewers, you will remember that there was also another major controversy swirling last week around the Karnataka government when it made certain budgetary allocations. Many people thought that those budgetary allocations were more in favor of one denomination than the other. Viewers, as then and as now, the Karnataka government is being asked to explain the intention behind imposing a 10% tax on temple income exceeding 1 crore. This is what the bill fundamentally says, that the state government will now impose 10% tax on temples that earn more than 1 crore rupees per annum, 5% tax on a temple income between 10 lakhs to 1 crore. These slabs, viewers, have been amended over the last iteration of this bill. The third point, that the temple tax will be used for the upliftment of the economic status of priests and also improving C-grade temples or grade C temples, viewers. These are temples which earn very little money, either through donations or through any other activity. The tax will also provide, quote, quality education to priests' children, unquote. What basically the Karnataka government is saying is that this money will be used only for the purposes of serving the Hindu community in different ways. This means, viewers, however, that the Karnataka government will be able to dip into the income of hundreds of temples to raise resources that it claims, again, underlining this point, that it will only spend on the upkeep of poorer Hindu temples or even to pay salaries of Hindu priests. Some of the temples earn huge incomes from donors or from renting out land and other sources of income. To give you an idea of the amount some temples earn, let me take you through a list of Karnataka's top 10 earning temples. Just top 10, viewers. I'm not going through the about 240 odd temples that earn more than 25 to 30 lakhs a year. I'm just talking about those that earn a substantial amount of money above the 1 crore threshold. And these are the top 10. The Subramanya temple, viewers, in Dakshina Kannada, annual income is 100 crores. The Kolur Mukambika temple in Udupi, annual income is between 90 to 92 crores. The Katil Durga Parmeshwari temple, Dakshin Kannada, annual income 40 to 42 crores. Chamundeshwari temple, Mysuru, annual income between 30 to 33 crores. Viewers, there are several other temples. The Nanjundeshwara temple, Mysuru, income is again 15 to 20 crores. The Savadatti Yellama temple, Belagavi, that earns about 15 to 17 crores per annum. Sri Durga Parmeshwari temple, Udupi, annual income 10 to 12 crores. The Gulagamma temple, Koppal, earns between 8 to 10 crores. Viewers, the list is long and I can constantly go through it. The Ghati Subramanya temple, Bangalore, income 7 to 8 crores. As you can see, viewers, the Karnataka government can raise quite a pretty penny by imposing this 10% tax, because obviously, as I told you, the temple list will include all those that earn more than 1 crore per year. The BJP has of course lashed out and said that this is an Aurangzeb-like jizya being unfairly imposed on the Hindu community, because the Congress is innately, in their words, anti-Hindu, unquote, viewers. It is also said that there is no guarantee that the funds won't be diverted to benefit other religious denominations. A war of words soon ensued, with the Congress state government issuing a point-by-point rebuttal. Let me walk you through the points on both sides of the fence, viewers. The BJP version, first up on your screens. The Congress is adopting anti-Hindu policies. The Karnataka government replies by saying the BJP gains by branding the Congress anti-Hindu. It is only playing the Hindu card to rally its voter base. The BJP version is the revenue will be used to fill the Congress's empty coffers. The Karnataka government says BJP government also took 5% from temples earning 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs and took 10% from temples earning above 10 lakhs. This is what they respond to the BJP by saying. The BJP version is that the Congress is eyes on Hindu temples and not other religions. Karnataka government says the funds will be only used for the welfare of Hindu temples. They won't be diverted for the purposes of upkeep of any other religion's place of worship, etc. Now, one of the main arguments used by the Karnataka government and tweeted by the Karnataka Chief Minister Mr. Siddaramaiah is that there has always been a mandate to create a common pool. Now, let me quote the Chief Minister. He writes, the contributions to the common pool fund will come from 1. 10% of the net income of institutions whose gross annual income exceeds 1 crore rupees. 2. 5% of the net income of institutions whose gross annual income exceeds 10 lakh rupees but does not exceed 1 crore rupees. And number 3, grants received from the state government. The recent amendment was made solely, it says, to enhance the amount of the common pool. The common pool is administered solely for religious purposes connected with the Hindu religion. The common pool fund, says the Karnataka government, the Congress Karnataka government, has been utilized only for the religious purposes of Hindu institutions since the Act came into force in 2003, and it will continue to be used for the same purposes in the future. It has not been utilized for any other purposes or for the benefits of followers of other religions, unquote. This is the rather elaborate, viewers, response given by the Congress Karnataka government. But viewers, in Siddaramaiah's tweet, the Chief Minister appended a copy of the HRNCE Act of 2007 and beyond, viewers, in which the gaze was directed at clause 19 of this act. But viewers, a plain reading, and here are some hard facts, viewers. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to still throw them up. A plain reading of clause 19(1) of the Act seems to suggest that the monies in the common pool can be utilized to aid other religions too. Here's what the Act says. Let me put it out for you, viewers. I am reading, viewers, clearly from all the iterations that have followed the 1997 Hindu Religious Institutions and Charitable Endowments Act. It says, under the clause 9, administration of common pool funds, point A, viewers, the Commissioner shall administer the common pool fund subject to the conditions herein stated and for the following purposes, namely, A, the grant of aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances. The operative words being, viewers, any other religious institutions. Not exclusively Hindu institutions. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but it does appear that the Karnataka government does have the discretion to divert funds from the common pool for the use of other religions if the conditions stipulated in the Act are met. That is, that these institutions are needy or are poor. What is to say that it won't, viewers? Shouldn't such a loophole be closed? As of now, we can only go by the assurances that have been put out by the Karnataka Chief Minister Mr. Siddaramaiah, and suppose, viewers, at some level One should believe the Chief Minister. But viewers, shouldn't such a loophole be closed? Why has it been kept open? Why this discretion? These are some fundamental points. And let's ask some fundamental questions on the back of the hard fact, viewers. The hard fact, and I'm going to push it back onto the screen, viewers. Just watch that hard fact. We were told that this money will only be used according to the law for the express purposes of the Hindu religion and its upkeep. But viewers, the hard fact, let's prompt it again, viewers. The hard fact seems to indicate that the very law leaves a loophole for the state government to give grants, to give aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances. Viewers, let's open this up. Let's go across to GS Prasantha, spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP, Kamru Chaudhary, political analyst and of course member of the Congress party. We also have with us Rashmi Samant, human rights activist. Asif Suhail, political analyst, will be there with us. Dr. David Frawley, Vedic scholar, joins us. And I want to first begin with Dr. David Frawley. Dr. Frawley, forget about what the BJP and the Congress are saying for the moment. Forget about all of that. I'm not on this. I'm only on the larger principle. Do you believe that any government, any state body should be controlling Hindu temples in isolation, viewers? Dr. Frawley, your response.
Well, first of all, there is no other country in the world that has that view of religion. And there is no other country that taxes the majority religion, namely the Hindus, and lets the minority religions do what they want. In other words, the Hindus do not have the rights of a religion in India. In the United States, that would not happen. Even in UK, it would not happen. So it is a fundamental hypocrisy. And what it is doing, it is telling people that Hindu resources belong to the government to do whatever it wants. The other religions have their rights and sanctity, which the Hindus do not have. It is a discrimination against one religion, and it is a false expropriation. Secularism doesn't mean that secular governments have the rights of religious finances and resources. That does not and hasn't occurred anywhere. For example, in countries like Germany, the secular government actually allows people to give part of their income or taxes to one religion or another. It doesn't take the money itself. So this is a horrible problem in India and a great hypocrisy. And it allowed the Congress government to control all these resources and also then to take money from the Hindus for other causes. And it's created a situation in which then the Hindus have to struggle just for equality. There's no equality or democratic rights of religion under that. And what Congress actually did is they placed the government and the dynasty above the people and above the religion. That's why they didn't build temples. They gave the dynastic names to various institutions. So it is a holdover from that past. It doesn't occur anywhere else.
Right.
And India is not a kingship. A kingship is also anti-secularism. So this needs to be exposed and changed. There needs to be unity and equality under the law relative to religions in India and their right to control their own resources.
That, I think, has been very well summed up by Dr. David Frawley. He needs no introduction, of course, viewers, Vedic scholar. I want to ask you, Dr. Frawley, because, the common argument is this, that, control is necessary because there is a caste system, that temples have been famously exclusivist, that they have not allowed people from other castes to access, they're controlled by Brahmins, etc., etc. Therefore, it is necessary to control these temples. How do you respond to that, Dr. Frawley?
Well, this is very silly because they're taking the money and giving it to non-Hindus. They're not giving it to other Hindu groups. And also, every religious community tends to do that to some degree. You have the Vatican's history of all the things that it has done. They haven't thrown out Catholicism entirely because of that. They've adapted it in some ways. So what's necessary is Hindus have the rights, and then they have to regulate that from within. Why should you say Hindus can't control their resources? They've controlled or they've maintained a country and civilization for 5,000 years. So this is like a false view. And the people who are taking this money aren't using it for the Hindus or even anybody else. It's usually used for their own personal and political needs, which is very anti-spiritual and anti-secular.
Well, Dr. Frawley, thank you for speaking to us. Of course, the Karnataka government has made it clear, not once but several times, that they're not diverting funds collected from these Hindu temples, that they're investing them back into Hindu institutions. The BJP in Karnataka, of course, disputes this. Let's open this up. Thank you, Dr. Frawley, for joining us. I'll relieve you. I know that you have other places to be. Let me open this up. Let me bring in Mr. Kamru Chaudhary of the Congress, Asif Suhail, Rashmi Samant, and of course the spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I want to ask you a fundamental question right now, Mr. Chaudhary. And this question stems from a fact check that I've done of the Chief Minister's own response. No doubt you might have seen the Chief Minister's tweet. It's an elaborate tweet. There are several paragraphs. I remember in the last tweet that I had made some days back, you got very upset. You called for my arrest or something like that. And it really did create a problem for me, though it was complete misinformation. So this time I have decided to dig deeper and look at the Congress's claim. The Congress says that the common pool fund has been utilized only for the religious purposes of Hindu institutions since the Act came into force in 2003. Fair enough. I don't have the facts right now. I'm not in government. I don't have the accounts, the books to say otherwise. But I find it very strange that clause 19(1) of the HR&CE Act, and you might have seen that clause. It says, and I'll put it back up for you on air so you can have a look at it. It says, the grant of aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances can be made. The Commissioner shall administer the common pool fund subject to the conditions herein stated and for the following purposes, namely, the grant of aid to any other religious institution which is poor or in needy circumstances. Now, you've amended one or two clauses of this particular act, but not this one. Why, sir? Why keep this loophole open?
Rahul, I'm actually, I can't understand the basic logic of the debate tonight, whether it is about the control of the temples by the government, or is it the disbursement of the funds collected from the temples to other religious institutions? What is the exact dispute all about? Because
should I explain to you? There are two aspects of this. There are two aspects.
I understood.
One is it secular to control the religious places of only one denomination? Point one. We can debate that. But
can I go
a more focused question, sir. Because this is what is being raised, that this 10% tax on temples is like an Aurangzeb jizya. Therefore, I'm asking you, the CM says, no, this is for the common, you see, we can raise resources for the common pool fund, and that fund is always used. And he cites the law. The law, clause 1, clause 9.1, A says that this is not quite the case, that the law allows the government actually to grant aid to any other religious institution, any other. So why am I going to believe Mr. Siddaramaiah when he says, trust me, this money will only be used for the Hindus?
Well, the highest executive of Karnataka has promised you on Twitter, it's all there in the public domain. And if there has been any diversion of funds, there was a BJP government prior to this Congress government, they could have as well come out with the facts in the future. But the question does not stop here. Okay. Now, when you put me a question on whether this fund should be used by the government, whether to tax the Hindu temples. Now, do you understand what is the condition of taxing other religious places? The Waqf Act clearly states that any religious institution whose income is more than 5,000 rupees will be taxed 7% of their total annual income. Please fact check it.
Second, but the Waqf doesn't give money to the state.
No, wait.
No, that is a fundamental question. Why?
No,
this
who
is ridiculous.
Who is getting it?
No, 1 second.
Ridiculous.
The Waqf gets it. The Waqf gets it. The Waqf can do what it wants to do with it.
No. That is not the fact. You please fact check yourself.
No, 1 second. Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, does the state take money from the Waqf? I'm asking you a simple question. Yes,
who
no.
administers who controls the
I'm
Waqf
asking
board?
you.
No,
I'm asking you, sir. Does the state collect money? Does the state? No, 1 second. 1 second, please. I'm asking you a pointed question. Does the state, let's say in Delhi, does the Kejriwal government take money from the Waqf board?
Rahul, you tell me
yes or no?
Board,
yes or no?
It's not so simplistic that
viewers, it is very simplistic. It is very simplistic because the HRNCE Act and the Chief Minister himself is saying it. He is admitting that money will be taken from the Hindu temples. Now, whether it is spent on Hindu temples or wherever they want to spend it. 1 second, sir, this is not fair.
Let me explain my point, otherwise you can...
Yeah, you can explain your point, sir. You can twist the facts. It's okay.
No, I am not twisting the facts. Right. Now come to the basic point. Smriti Irani, the Honorable Minister of the Minority Development Affairs, what did she do from last year? She has started to tax the annual Hajj pilgrimage at 20% tax collected at source. There is a 5% GST on the Hajj pilgrims. So it's not that the Hindus are only being taxed. Now here what happened was that 10 lakh rupees...
Just 1 second, BJP, 1 second, Mr. 1 second. 1 second, I'll come to you.
You can
1 second. Kamru Chaudhary, you're not
understanding
the fundamental point I'm making. Whether the Hindus are taxed or the Muslims are taxed, it doesn't matter to me. Why is the state in the business of religion? Why isn't the Karnataka government passing a law that says we will no longer control temples? Simple. If it is secular.
You must go into the context, Rahul.
Why context?
First and foremost, why did this 1997 Act come into being? Because there is so much widespread corruption in the temple management.
There is no corruption in Waqf management. There is no corruption in Christian church management.
We are fighting because the Waqf board.
So only the Hindus need to be checked by the state.
Muslims of India are wanting the Waqf board to be free of government control.
Please, viewers, this is where the problem is. You can't be throwing this clangor. It's not as if there is no. No, hang on. We are talking about a secular country, viewers. Look at the Western example. Nowhere in the world. Am I to believe that there are no corrupt denominations in the West? That there are no corrupt management boards of churches in the West? But does any of their governments treat Christians with such contempt that we don't trust you, so we'll manage you? And what does it do, viewers, for the basic tenet of secularism that the Congress wears on its head like a crown? It says we are the most secular. We believe. Ask Nehru. He said very clearly that the Indian government should not be building the Somnath temple. Why? Because we are secular. Here, viewers, Nehru's proteges in government who say we swear by Nehruvian secularism are continuing to manage temples. Why, viewers? In power you say something, in 2024 you say something, in 1947 you say something else. Tell me, Kamru Chaudhary, did not Mr. Nehru say the state has no business being in religion? Yes or no? Did he say it or not? Or was there a context there also?
In fact, that we should be walking the talk right now.
We should be walking. Now let's Narendra Modi should walk the talk. Why can't Karnataka walk the talk? It should pass a bill. It's a state legislation.
The government that is
he just passed a bill. It should pass a bill to say we don't want to manage temples.
Rahul, dig deep into the bill, and this bill should be an ideal bill, endowment bill.
Now let's dig deep into the bill. Let me bring in on this question of a secular state managing religious affairs. Whether it is of Hindus, Muslims, I don't care. Rashmi Samant. Don't you think there's a hypocrisy? The so-called guardians of secularism here are sitting and imposing taxes and tightening laws which deal with the regulation of someone's place of religion?
Absolutely, Rahul. I come from the temple town of India, Udupi, and we have temples here at every 500 meters. And it's disheartening to see this level of taxation that happens only with respect to temples. And as long as Section 9 of that bill remains that you discussed about before the debate started, all of these assurances are just political speak. What is to stop them from reallocation of these funds, collected under the guise of taxes to other religious institutions? Nothing. It is just political speak. And we know better than others that to never, trust the words of a politician. So I think it's absolutely, foolish to just believe just because Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says that the funds will not be used for other, religious institutions. If he means it, then the amendment should have also nullified Section 9 of the original act, which, presents a loophole to reallocate all of these funds. Secondly, I think when a devotee gives money to a particular temple, it is with the belief that that money will be used for the deity that presides over that land. So there is a definite spiritual connection to the act of donation. So it is, in fact, interference with that connection of a devotee to his deity that the government involves itself in when it tries to even reallocate those funds. So, I think you know this entire pratha which exists in Hindu dharma, that, they pray to a particular deity and there is this special connection with the deity and they want a part of their personal fund to be part of that property. And, through that deity, it wants it to be, indulged in services in that particular property. So when you try to reallocate it, it's also interfering in a spiritual sort of bond that a devotee has with his deity. So there are so many different levels in which this can be, discussed. But the biggest hypocrisy is that the Karnataka state government wouldn't dare to, interfere in this manner, say with a mosque or with a church. In fact, these people give big lectures on secularism. Okay. Germany is a secular state, but in Germany, a portion of the collected tax from everybody, 8%, goes to the church. And if you refuse, you can, opt out refusing to pay that tax. If you refuse to pay that tax, then your children are not allocated good schools. Then, you kind of miss out on a lot of public benefits that you would otherwise get just by paying this tax. So even if you believe or not in the church, in a secular country like Germany, 8% of your income is then allocated to the church. So we have these beautiful examples of so-called secularism all across the world. But when it comes to India, and especially the Hindus, right, everything nullifies and the devotees are taken for a toss.
Let me open this up. Let me get the Karnataka BJP in. The Chief Minister is saying repeatedly that this money is only going to be used, sir, for the purposes of Hindu welfare. Why should we not believe them? Mr. Prashant GS.
Yes, Rahul, can you ever believe a congressman talking about maintaining sanctity with Hindus and Hindu temples? It can never happen because they are following the footsteps of A.O. Hume, who founded Congress, left it in the hands of Nehru, and Nehru's family is now running the Congress. So therefore, at no point in time, Congress believes that they should do anything good for the Hindus. They are the party who openly defied that Prana Pratishtha of Sri Ram Lalla should not happen. So therefore, we have thousands of instances to prove how Congress has always been anti-Hindu. And apart from the section 19, what you pointed out, I also want to point out section 25 of that same act, which says members from both Hindu and other religions may be appointed as members of the committee of management, which means for managing a Hindu temple, you want to have members from other religion. What sort of a secularism is this? Whereas in the recently concluded budget, which Siddaramaiah presented, what has he done? 100 crores for Waqf development, 10 crore for Mangalore Hajj Bhavan, then training facilities for Maulvis, and then to top it, 200 crores for Christians. What do Hindus get? Nothing. And now come back to the education sector, what Siddaramaiah has done.
He wants to develop. Prashant GS, there's an allocation to Hindus also. 5 crores and other
Now
allocations.
I talk about that.
not only
5
that,
crores he set aside, and the other 158 crores what he talk about is not for Hindu temples. It is for a public road which incidentally has Mantralaya temple on the way. So therefore you can't say it is for a Hindu temple. And the other thing, I'll point out one thing which blunder they've done in the education sector. For Karnataka public schools, he wants to use the CSR funds. For developing UVC college, he wants to use CSR funds and alumni donations. Whereas for minority institutions, to build Monarchy residential schools for minorities, he is going to give largesse from the government.
Okay, so
therefore,
we can end all this. We can end
extending
all this. We can
Congress
end all
has
this.
always been
I want to ask
anti-Hindu.
you, Mr. GS, why did you not move a bill scrapping the management of Hindu temples? Simple question to you.
Now, I completely understand that BJP in the past should have actually done much more than what we are standing up for. But that does not mean Congress can get away with this particular.
Okay, let me bring in Mr.
activity
Sohail.
of,
Let me bring in
appeasing
Mr. Sohail.
one
Let me bring in
particular
Mr. Sohail.
community.
Look, all parties have dipped their hands into the funds of these temples, Mr. Sohail. That's a fact. But I want to ask you, do you believe today that there should be this rampant discrimination, that the state should even be involved in the management of all religious places, especially those of the Hindu community, specifically those of the Hindu community? Yes or no?
राहुल देखिए, एक तो इसमें देखिए 7% वक्फ फंड हम सालों से देते हुए आ रहे हैं. कौन सी भी हुकूमत और पिछले 9 साल से तो बीजेपी भी ले रही है ना सेंट्रल. सर मेरा सवाल खत्म करने दीजिए, मेरी बात मैं खत्म करने दीजिए. सर देखिए, उसके बाद प्रेजेंट हज मिनिस्टर हाजियों के ऊपर टीसीएस जीएसटी भी लगाते हैं, उन्हीं के पैसों से घूम के आ रहे हैं. और दूसरी चीज, वो जो भी टेंपल का फंड लिया जा रहा है, जो टेंपल में पैसे नहीं आते वही टेंपलों को डेवलप किया जाएगा. इंडोमेंट के लिए इस्तेमाल होगा. क्या मुसलमानों के लिए इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं पैसे? बीजेपी को जब तकलीफ नहीं हुई थी इतने साल से तो वक्फ फंड ले रहे हैं ना हमारे पास से, हमारे मसाजिद से लेते हैं, हमारे दरगाहों से लेते हैं, हर जगह से पैसे ले रहे हैं. जब अगर इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए तो ये भी एबॉलिश कर दीजिए ना, वक्फ फंड भी खत्म कर दीजिए. आप हाजियों के ऊपर जीएसटी और टीसीएस भी हटा दीजिए, आप वो भी हटाइए ना. एक चीज पे क्यों पकड़ के बैठे हुए? ये सिर्फ देखिए डाइवर्ट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है.
Okay, Mr. Sohail, I asked you a simple question.
Logically,
I asked you a simple question. I asked you a simple question. I asked you a simple question, sir. Can the Congress, sir, I'm asking you a simple question. Mr. Sohail, आप मेरी आवाज आ रही है? मेरी आवाज आपको? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm asking you a simple question. Can the Congress party define itself as secular when it is in the business of managing places of worship? It's a simple question. Yes, no?
सर देखिए, अगर है तो बीजेपी को भी सेंट्रल से आप लेकर आइए. बोलिए
अरे भाई, आपको तो बीजेपी कम्युनल लगती ही है.
टीसीएस भी हटा दीजिए, हाजियों के पास से भी हटा दीजिए. तो ये भी होना चाहिए.
ये की जो सेक्युलर प्रधान है,
see who are in the power,
okay, no question.
Let them get the bill in the upper house.
Okay,
let them get the bill in the upper house to
fundamentally, okay, calm down.
Doesn't make any sense, sir.
Okay, let me tell you viewers, 1 second. आपका ज्ञान सुना मैं.
30 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Yes. See, to point out to Mr. Sohail what again the lies that the Congress is peddling. TCS is collected and it is as part of the income tax, which means when they file their returns, they can claim refund of the TCS. So therefore, Congress again is misleading people saying they're collecting tax on that. TCS will be collected beyond a particular threshold under the Income Tax Act. If you are giving more than 7 lakhs to overseas tour package, only then money will be collected and that money will be set off against
Look,
your
viewers,
income taxes.
I told you, I didn't want to get into this business of who is getting what and what is getting whom. 1 second, please lower everyone's faders. You see, viewers, these are sensitive matters. I am not here trying to pit one denomination against the other. I'm asking a very fundamental question. Those who call themselves the guardians of secularism, those who have told us from 1947, 15th August stroke of midnight, that they will ensure a strict separation between church and state, those that militated against any demand to reconstruct the Somnath temple, viewers, because they said that the state cannot be polluted by religion. Those very same people today are busy meddling in religion. Whether it is on one side or the other, it doesn't matter to me, viewers. That's the fundamental question. Why are they meddling in religion? And if they are, when they promise one thing, what do you call those kind of people, viewers? That's the fundamental question. You call them hypocrites. Perhaps, viewers, we have to pay heed to the larger warning signs. That there are people amongst us who claim that they are something, but they're not. An election year, viewers, you have this opportunity, clear opportunity to decide. Do you want to go for the genuine article, or do you want to go for the people who pretend to be what they are not? I leave it to you, viewers. You heard this debate. I brought out one loophole. It could be one loophole too many. Another person says, look at section 25. It says that, look, members of other religious denominations can be appointed to temple boards to manage them. Two clear contradictions in the same bill. Why couldn't they have been amended? I don't know, viewers. But I'm going to move on, because there is another very significant story that one needs to tell you. The National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights, no less, has sought legal action and issued a directive to the Uttar Pradesh government to register an FIR against Darul Uloom Deoband, an Islamic education center located in Saharanpur, over a fatwa issued by it on its website. Now, viewers, the fatwa validates a concept called Ghazwa-e-Hind and allegedly glorifies, quote, martyrdom in the context of India's invasion, unquote. Now, here's what the fatwa states. It states that the holy raid of India is valid from the Islamic point of view. That means Ghazis, viewers, can flow across from the border, from Pakistan, from Afghanistan, from wherever, whichever basket case country, and basically invade our country to establish a caliphate. It says whoever sacrifices for the invasion of India will be a great martyr. Can you imagine, viewers, a seminary in charge of grooming young minds is validating this nonsense? This seditious nonsense? The fatwa, viewers, claims that the Prophet's close aide, Hazrat Abu Huraira, validated holy war in India. Fatwa claims that Hazrat Abu Huraira said, quote, I will fight for it and will sacrifice all my wealth for it. If I die, I will be a great sacrifice, unquote. If I remain alive, quote, I will be called Ghazi, a Muslim warrior, unquote. So, viewers, what is it doing? It's edifying the concept of being a Ghazi, to wage war against India, secular India, in the name of your faith. And viewers, let me tell you, with less encouragement, a large number of youth from this country, Muslim youth, have left to join the ranks of the ISIS, the Lashkar-e-Toiba, the Jaish-e-Muhammad. Viewers, the Darul Uloom may be in India, but its ideological protégés are today waging holy war as they proclaim from Afghanistan and Pakistan. Indeed, Islamic scholars, many political scientists, many who study history say that the ideological outlook of the Taliban, the Lashkar-e-Toiba, the Jaish-e-Muhammad and other Islamist groups have been deeply influenced by the teachings of Deobandi seminary. The fatwa raises several questions, and let me pose them for you, viewers. Is backing India's invasion by a religious force secular? Why shouldn't the Darul Uloom be banned forthwith? Will the SC that said that hate speech must be prosecuted take suo motu action against Darul Uloom Deoband? And if it is not, what is it waiting for? Christmas? Third, fourth, does the deafening silence of the so-called secular ecosystem suggest tacit support for this project, viewers, for Ghazwa-e-Hind? Fifth, would the reaction of the so-called secular liberals have been as muted had a Hindu religious body praised the takeover of India by a Hindu military in the name of the Hindu faith? You just think about all these things. These are fundamental questions that I'm posing, and we are going to ask them. But before I go any further, let me go across to Priyank Kanungo, chairperson of the NCPCR, who has sent this notice to the Deoband seminary. Now, Mr. Kanungo, why have you sent them a notice? What has alarmed you about it?
Actually, Darul Uloom Deoband is not a madrasa where children study 1,500 or 100 or 200 children are studying there. It is beyond that. It's an institution which affiliates madrasas across the South Asia, including Pakistan and Bangladesh. And children are getting academic affiliations through their madrasas from this Darul Uloom Deoband. Children are getting education as per the syllabus prescribed by Darul Uloom Deoband, the curriculum, the books, and the advices in the forms of fatwas, what they are providing. In a particular fatwa, they have glorified Gajwa-e-Hind. Gajwa-e-Hind means attack on India. अब आप भारत पर हमला करने को अगर ग्लोरीफाई करेंगे और ये कहेंगे कि जो भी भारत पर अटैक करते हुए, भारत पर हमला करते हुए मारा जाएगा, which be that person will be supreme martyr, the great martyr, that will be called a great martyr. तो ये तो बच्चों के दिमाग में गलत चीज़ें, जहर, देशद्रोह, भारत के खिलाफ भरना ही हुआ. That's why Commission has taken cognizance and issued direction to the District Administration of Saharanpur to lodge an FIR against such institution.
Rashid Sharif Sahab, let me bring you into this. Do you think the Darul Uloom Deoband should be glorifying Ghazwa-e-Hind? Should it be glorifying the concept of the Ghazi? Should it be encouraging an all-out holy war against India? And if you don't think this is right, then should it not be banned forthwith?
बिल्कुल सर, ये कब की बात, कौन क्या कर रहा है, क्या बात हो रही है, ये समझ के बाहर है. ये ग़ज़वा हिंद के बारे में जो है, मोहम्मद इब्न क़ासिम जो पहली बात, जो पहली सदी में, उसके बाद से लेके आज तक, उसके बाद से है सो आप देखिए जितने महमूद गजनवी है, उसके बाद गौरी है, उसके बाद सिकंदर है, उसके बाद जो जो वक्तन सख्तन आते रहे, वो पहले की बात है. ये आज अगर आप देवबंद से जोड़ रहे हैं, इसको देवबंद से बात कर रहे हैं, तो आज की बात नहीं है. हमारे सरकार द्वारा,
मैं नहीं जोड़ रहा हूं, ये देवबंद कह रहा है. देवबंद अपने वेबसाइट पे ऐसा फतवा इशू करा है. दे हैव इशूड दिस फतवा सेइंग दैट दिस इज राइट, that you should carry out your holy duty, you should invade. I'll read it to you, sir. I am not lying. Holy raid of India is valid from the Islamic point of view. Sir, is this valid? Is this even secular? I'm asking you. Rashid Sharif Saab, should, no, one second. Should this Deobandi seminary be saying these things?
सर, ये तो मैं जहाँ तक मैं देख रहा हूँ, मैं समझ रहा हूँ, ये सब चीजें पुराने हो चुके, आए भी
तो और क्यों कह रहे हैं,
खत्म भी हो गया,
उसको रीटरेट क्यों कह रहे हैं,
खत्म भी हो.
No, one second viewers, this is not an acceptable. Instead of apologizing, Mr. Sharif, पुरानी बातें भी ऐसे दोहराना की है ठीक है क्या पुरानी बातें भी ऐसे दोहरानी चाहिए?
20वीं सदी में खत्म हो चुका है सर ये.
तो फिर ये दोहरा क्यों रहे हैं?
नहीं सर, आर्यन भी आए थे. नहीं,
अरे भाई, आर्यन कहां से आए थे?
मुल्क कोई रिलीजियस फाइट नहीं था.
आप यहां झूठ मत बोलिए प्लीज. राशिद शरीफ साहब, ये झूठ मत बोलिए. देयर वाज नो आर्यन इन्वेजन थियरी. वो एक दो मार्क्सिस्ट हिस्टोरियंस ने आपको ये सब उल्टी पट्टी पढ़ाई है. मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं, डोंट गेट इनटू आर्यन. आई एम आस्किंग यू, डू यू टेक दिस एट फेस वैल्यू? डू यू सपोर्ट दिस? यस और नो? Do you support it?
मैं तो नहीं मानता हूं कि कोई देवबंद में इस तरीके का फतवा अगर, हाँ बिल्कुल सर, मैं तो नहीं मानता हूं कि इस वक्त कोई भी देवबंद से इस तरीके का फतवा आता है, क्योंकि हमको मालूम है और
उनकी वेबसाइट पे है, आप गूगल कर लीजिए. आप यहां पर बात को गोल मटोल करने आए हैं कि सख्त सीधा जवाब देने आए हैं?
अरे सच इसमें
तो
डर
आप
किस बात
ऐसे
का सर?
आप भाग क्यों रहे हैं इस मामले से? वहां उनके वेबसाइट पे सीधा दे रखा है ये फतवा. Anyhow, let me bring in. Look, viewers, now we are being accused of cooking up a story. I mean, where does one stretch this conversation? How does one even have a conversation in the face of these bald lies? Ratan Sharda, how do you respond to this gentleman, Mr. Sharif?
Well, Rahul, first of all, I must thank Mr. Kanungo to pick up this particular topic because it should have been picked up by UP Police, by NI or anybody. That Kanungo had to come into this picture because he looks after the welfare of children who are studying the so-called madrasa with lakhs of people studying the same kind of theology which we have seen what it is producing. Now, let me come to the main point. I will not even bother to respond to this Aryan invasion theory because he is the person who belongs to the tradition which says earth is flat, which says sun moves around earth. So they don't believe in science. Now, so what about AIT? See, this particular hadith, the Maulvi clearly said, is from Marfu hadith, which is not recognized as the sixth recognized hadith. So it is imaginary, it is not given any respect in Islam. If that is so, did this particular Maulvi put a disclaimer that this is not a real hadith, it is not recognized hadith? He did not. So it's a deep mischief. Because the same kind of language, Ghazwa is the name of the magazine being published by Al-Qaeda of Indian subcontinent. It is alive and kicking. So are you going to deny that also? And further, Maulana Mufti Mushtaq Ticharvi of Jamaat-e-Islami itself had years back said that this is a fabrication, it's not a correct hadith, it should not be published. Despite this, if somebody who is supposed to be most scholarly seminary of Muslims in India, if that spreads this kind of hateful fatwa, which is equal to sedition, then action has to be taken, and they have no right to then go under some excuse saying पहले हो गया अभी नहीं है हम माफी नहीं मांगेंगे. Either he should have put a disclaimer, we don't believe it, and secondly, if they don't believe their own Maulvis earlier on, so this is purely a mischief created. Look at the chicanery of these people saying नहीं ये तो हो नहीं सकता. It is there on the website and the people have not withdrawn it. So are you teaching these people
they will not
sedition?
withdraw it because this is what they espouse. So let me ask Mr. Sohail.
Al-Qaeda.
Well, let me ask Mr. Sohail. Let me ask Mr. Sohail. Mr. Sohail, आप secularism की बड़ी-बड़ी बातें करते हैं. I'm asking you, is backing India's invasion by a religious force secular? Number one. Number two, why shouldn't the Darul Uloom be banned?
सर देखिए, मैं आपको इससे पहले भी देखिए आप सेक्युलरिज्म की बात करते हैं सर. आप ग़ज़वा हिंद को एक गलत नज़र से देख रहे हैं. वो एक आरएसएस का बनाया हुआ स्क्रिप्ट नैरेटिव आप बता रहे हैं, उस पर मैं डिस्कशन नहीं करना. मेरी बात तो खत्म करनी चाहिए सर. इट्स ए स्पिरिचुअल मिशन फॉर प्रमोटिंग पीस, उसको भी ले सकते हैं आप. और देखिए, दारुल उलूम ने अपने से कुछ नहीं कहा है. उसने उनको एक सवाल किया जाता है, फतवा तो वो एक हदीस के बारे में उन्होंने लिखा है. उसके ऊपर देखिए, अब अगर आप कोई रावण को मारने वाले उनको अगर मारा है तो उनके ऊपर भी केस बुक करेंगे. देखिए, आप एक या धर्म के किताबों के अंदर जो लिखा हुआ है उसके ऊपर भी आप सवाल उठाया जाएगा और केसेस बुक करे जाएंगे. आप सेक्युलरिज्म की बात कर रहे हैं, आप डेमोक्रेसी की आप बात कर रहे हैं, तो पहले आप मुझे इसका सवाल दीजिए. आप क्या महाभारत के अंदर, गीता के अंदर आपका यदा
मैं आपका जवाब देता हूं.
क्या है?
मैं आपका जवाब देता हूं. मैं आपका जवाब देता हूं. मैं आपका जवाब देता हूं. सुनना चाहेंगे आप जवाब मेरा? आप मेरा सवाल आप सुनना चाहेंगे, जवाब सुनना चाहेंगे? मैं आपको बताता हूं. 1 minute, lower his fader because this is going too far. Viewers, it's shocking. He's an Indian citizen. Can you believe it? And guess what this? I am not quoting this. This is Darul Uloom in its own words. He says जो हमारी किताबों में लिखा है. जरूर लिखा होगा. सोहेल साहब must be right. He's a great scholar. But वहां तो इंडिया का जिक्र ही नहीं होगा. Viewers, because India was formed after 1947. On the website, what does it say? Holy raid of India is valid from the Islamic point of view. 1400 years ago, viewers, India didn't exist as a country on the map. So I want to bring in Rashmi Samant. Rashmi Samant, the Supreme Court, of course, talks big about cracking down on hate speech, etc. Do you think that the Supreme Court will step in here? Because Look what this says. Holy raid of India is valid from the Islamic point of view. Whoever sacrifices for invasion of India will be a great martyr. Forget about Indian students studying there. In Pakistan, in Bangladesh, they will think this is their religious duty.
Well, Rahul, I think given the track record of the Supreme Court of India, I'm quite expecting them to redirect any, petitions made by citizens to the local court, either in Deoband or to the Uttar Pradesh High Court, because that's the sort of track record that they've shown when it comes to a particular kind of issues, right from the Kashmiri Pandits to the Sandesh Kali issue. So there's the clear bias. So I'm not expecting the Supreme Court of India to step in. That being said, I think this is very concerning given that Talibanis were originally called Deobandis. So the kind of influence that Deoband has, the seminary there has on people is immense, and the kind of human rights violation and the kind of abuse of women that this philosophy has brought in, the Deobandi philosophy has brought in, is heartbreaking. Even today, women are stoned to death.
Well, look, I'm not going to go into all of that. I am only going to say very clearly, viewers, very clearly, that the fatwa claims that the Prophet's close aide, Hazrat Abu Huraira, validated holy war on India. If you're going to quote this person who says this, the message to the youth is, this is your religiously ordained duty. Go ahead, do it. Think about the implications, viewers, and therefore I ask my last question. Would the reaction of the so-called secular liberals had been as muted had a Hindu religious body declared that they will overthrow the elected government of this country and wage a Hindu religious war on the state? Think about that, viewers. No, they wouldn't have. They would have leapt out of their skins and they would have occupied Raisina Hill. Think about that. I'll take a short break, viewers.
As guardians of
putting money where the mouth is, they don't want to invest. They want to give subsidies. They will give 3,000 rupees to some young man who says he's not got a job after getting a diploma degree. Why can't they put money for training? Get the top 10 engineering colleges, tell them each one of you train 1,000 people this year. Here is the money. Do that. It'll work. It'll work. That's the way to do it. And put more money to higher education in North Karnataka. North Karnataka doesn't have many good institutions. They got very good few institutions, not many. Do that. Invest in infrastructure in North Karnataka. You saw what happened in Hubli, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't abuse companies in the legislature and say, oh, they came for land. I mean, that company has put 300 crores campus, a beautiful campus, biggest campus in Hubli. They will hide people locally. Leave them alone. I mean, you can't do all this and create fear.
All right, let's go across to that story of the Karnataka government proposing to have all MNCs, IT companies put out the names of local employees, how many locals they've employed out on the boards of companies. Joining me now is the former HR head of Infosys and of course chairman of RN Capital, Mr. Mohandas Pai. Thank you very much, Mr. Pai, for speaking with us here on CNN.
Thank you, Zaka.
So the state government's contention, and Priyank Kharge, who's the IT minister today, said that, look, this was just a proposal, when that whole controversy erupted about 60% signage should be in Kannada. We had asked the public, and one of the suggestions that the public gave was that IT companies should display how many locals they are employing. How do you respond to that?
Look, the government should, I'm sure the government people are very mature people who understand what is the message they're trying to send by talking like this. People can give any amount of suggestions. Suggestions come from all people. Many people are not aware of industry situation, what is happening. They'll give suggestion. It's up to you as very bright, good people who are in politics to understand what has to be done. Now, if you talk that we're going to pass this order, if you don't do it, your license will be withdrawn. What is this license government of Karnataka is giving that they're going to withdraw if nobody follows? So what is the fear you're sending? That you're here because we tolerate you. If we don't like you, we'll kick you out. I mean, is that the way to send a message? Look, let us understand one thing. All of us appreciate government of Karnataka wants to create more jobs for locals. Very good. Karnataka is the richest state in South India or in India. Per capita income is the highest. All right? Because of Bangalore. Bangalore is the richest city in India. Bangalore has 23 lakh people in technology. We hired 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh people in technology very here. You want job for Kannadigas, very good. Skill them up, train them up. Out of 1.5, 2 lakhs, at least 50% are Kannadigas. They're all locals who are being hired. It's been happening for the last 25 years. So skill up more people from North Karnataka, where there are not many very good engineering colleges. There are a few very good, not many. And skill them up by training them in triple ITs, etc. And then spend more money in higher education, create more labs in 56 engineering colleges, skill them up. So our young people from Karnataka can go and get jobs. Nobody discriminates when you hire people in technology and MNCs, whether you are North Indian, South Indian, East Indian, nobody discriminates. There is no discrimination. You have to pass through a test, go through an interview. If you are good, you get a job. So why all this? Why all this kind of parochialism right now? Even if you don't want just a proposal, you're just shooting in the dark. Don't talk about it. Zaka, we are living in fear in Bangalore. About 2 or 3 months ago, unruly elements went around the city, breaking glasses, breaking signboards, threatening people. They abused people on Avenue Road, called traders names. You don't abuse communities and call them names. And the police kept quiet. Even on Airport Road, when they're breaking all the signs, police kept quiet. And later only, because everybody protested, all of them were arrested. They threatened the Chief Minister also, and Chief Minister gave it back to them. Now we got a good Chief Minister, a mass leader, Siddaramaiah. He knows what it is. We got a good Bangalore Minister, D.K. Shivkumar, who is in business. He's in the real estate business. He's in politics. He knows what makes Bangalore good. Now if both of them tolerate it, what are we supposed to do?
No, but Mr. Pai, the government's contention is that, look, everywhere, every state, Haryana has tried this before, Maharashtra has tried this before, there is a problem of jobs, good quality jobs, and locals being employed. So this is, they claim, their way of redressing that problem.
This is not the way. This is not the way. There is. Tell me how much money have they spent on skilling? Zaka, let me tell you an experiment Infosys did many years ago when I was there. You know, Bira Kumar, Social Welfare Minister in the UPS said, reserved community is not being hired and all kind of thing. We made an experiment with triple IT. We got 100 engineering graduates from the reserved community who had not got jobs. We paid 1.5 crore for a 6-month training, and all of them got jobs. Most all got jobs. Some got 2 or 3 jobs. We did another batch of 100. Almost all of them got jobs. They're very good people. They have to be trained. And then for the third batch, we told them to go to Delhi to get money. They went to Social Welfare Department. They asked for a bribe to give money. That's the status in Delhi that time. That is a bribe government. Now you see, people will get jobs. This is not the way. Nobody is coming in the way. Everybody wants locals to get job wherever you are. That's the policy. Nobody has discriminated against Kannadigas. Kannadigas are getting at least 50-55% of jobs. They go to all engineering colleges, hire people, and they come. But this is not the way. This is not the way. I think, and remember, in Tamil Nadu today, they announced in the budget the PLI scheme where above a certain income level, salary level, they'll give 30% subsidy for a new job by a GCC. Last year, Hyderabad hired more people in technology than Bangalore for the first time in 30 years. And that is come by NASSCOM. NASSCOM gave the report. They constructed more real estate commercial property than Bangalore, first time in 30 years that I know of, because I've been observing for 30 years. So we must be aware, we must market, we must get more people, we must get a conducive. As it is, Bangalore's got a bad name because of traffic. The government promised many months back, in 100 days we're going to improve traffic. What has happened? How much of it has happened? They must spend time in improving the traffic in Bangalore, making roads better, making life easier for people, completing the metro in time. The metro link is getting postponed day by day, month by month is getting postponed in Electron City or other places. They made a mess of it. Only now they got a good CEO. Now, why don't you get your act together? Not this. You'll only drive away people. And let me tell you, Zaka, people are not standing in a queue knocking on Vidhan Soda to say, let me in, let me in. You have to go market. All of us want the world's biggest companies to come here. We want them to set up shop. We want them to come fast. There should be ease of business. We want them to create jobs. We want the young people from Karnataka, Kannadigas to be given jobs. All of us are working for it for 30 years.
Here's a special look at the Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant pre-wedding ceremony, which will take place in Jamnagar from the 1st to the 3rd of March, which will showcase Indian artisans and the who's who from the world of business and entertainment.
Reliance Industries chairman Mukesh Ambani's youngest son, Anant Ambani, and Radhika Merchant will be tying the knot on July 12th in Mumbai. Ahead of the big day, pre-wedding festivities will be taking place in Gujarat's Jamnagar from March 1st to 3rd, and some of the most powerful people in the world will be attending the ceremonies. Bill Gates, the founder and former CEO of Microsoft, is expected to attend the pre-wedding ceremonies of Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant. Meta CEO Zuckerberg has been invited to attend the grand festivities in India. Donald Trump's daughter and former advisor Ivanka Trump is also part of the guest list. Adobe CEO Shantanu Narayan has been invited as well. The CEO of the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger, is also likely to attend the pre-wedding ceremonies in Jamnagar. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, Morgan Stanley CEO Ted Pick, and Blackstone founder Stephen Schwarzman are also attending. And it's not just the business honchos, several dignitaries will also be in attendance, like Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani, the Prime Minister of Qatar, King of Bhutan, Jigme Khasar, Namgyel Wangchuk, and Queen Jetsun Pema are expected to join the grand celebration. Stephen Harper, the former Prime Minister of Canada, is another big name who is expected to join the celebrations. Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant got engaged in a traditional ceremony in January 2023. Their wedding is the most anticipated event of the year.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, Karnataka once again has become a talking point and perhaps a matter of a political slugfest between the ruling disposition, the Congress party, and the BJP.